And we are back. And we are back. But let me say this to you, and I don't know, and I just want to piggyback on what the caller has said. He says, I don't know what you're looking for. Listen, let me say this to you about many Black women, okay? Black women that I know are more resilient women, okay? I know Black women who have a JD, a MD. They want a man to be honest, God fearing, want one woman, and will work a job. Okay? So, but they don't want somebody playing no damn games with them either. I see men who feel that if they only have one woman, you a punk. You supposed to have a crew. When the Bible say that you're supposed to have concubines, let me say this to you. And I'm not going to get into a debate on that issue. But in Deuteronomy, the Bible talks about only having one wife. It was a man's desire, his pride, that led him to believe that he could have more than one wife and all these concubines. And if you look at it, that's always been a trouble. Throughout history, you got one woman that's a wife in the house or outside the house, you're going to have conflict. And that is a problem. But traditionally, people believe that if you only have one mate, that somehow, you are less than a man. And that's unfortunate. I agree with the last caller that shows a level of immature, but it's a whole bunch of, like I said, it's a whole bunch of little men childs running around here. There's doctors, there's lawyers, there's ministers, there's police, there's in every vocation, they little men child. Okay, they driving Mercedes and nice cars, but mentally they kids, okay? And they out here and they doing that. And it's unfortunate that at least in the Black community, that is a prerequisite to being successful. You got to have a harem of women. You got to have money. You got to have a fancy car. You successful. I want my wife at home. I want her to raise my kids. I don't want her to be in my business, what I do, but I don't want to be responsible and grow up. Or when I go to different events, when I would go to events when my children were younger, all the Black women I see, they in there cheering their kid. Where they daddy at? Where they daddy at? Oh, he had to work. Lying. Daddy ain't even want to come. Black men want Black women to work, keep their house clean, raise their children, go to all their extracurricular activities while they work a job and have a side woman. Ain't nobody got time for that. They ain't got time for that. But anyway, we got some more callers that held on, and I want to hear from them. I want to hear from them. Who is the next caller? I'm trying to do this too. Tony, I'm sorry. Tony, how are you?
Hi, Vonda. I know we can't hear from the man. I'm not the man, though. But I'm so glad that you are saying what you're saying today. I heard you refer to Martha Jane McQueen when you were just talking. And I'm like, wow, because I used to listen to her. And the things that she told us every day, she just told it like a rose.
Yes.
She didn't bash nobody. She wasn't bashing people. She told it like it was, just like what you're doing right now. Now, I've been around a long time in this area. I remember the 60s when we come out, we should overcome. I remember the 70s when they put us the drugs into the city, the heroin into the city. And then all of these disgusting movies came out, like Superfly and The Next. I don't know if you remember those movies.
Right.
I don't know how old you are.
But Tony.
Prostitution and killing.
Wait a minute, Tony. Babe, let's go there, sister. I remember okay, wait a minute, Tony. I remember my mother, who is over 70 years old, tell me that the pastors in the church, they had enough family, and what they was telling you about to be saved and everything. This ain't something that just started out with the movies. This has been going on, especially in the Black community, where Black men have had other wives, other families, children outside of their marriage, and or side women. But this was something that, oh, no, they just coming to pray together, or that's my uncle, he coming to change the pipe. Y'all children go outside now, y'all go play. This ain't something that just started in the 60s and 70s. Black men have been lying and cheating since day one. But go ahead.
You're right. And then, well, I'm just saying what I saw.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
From me. And then all of this stuff, it's crazy because it's like you're a Black man that was coming along, like it was a time when everybody's walking around. They had changed with medallions, full medallions on their neck after the movie The Super Friday. Everybody doing cocaine and stuff. And this affected us as a people. We weren't talking about going to college and talking about being educated and building a life with somebody. We were talking about, and too many of us, not everybody, but talking about having a stable with women and all of this stuff and getting pleasant. And if you fast forward, I'm just fast forward to the day what you were talking about and how these young men are now. This is the foundation that they came from.
Listen, let me tell you something. I know lawyers personally who were married 50 years, told their girlfriend, put every bill in the middle of the table by the 5th of January, by the 5th of the month, and if it ain't there, it ain't gonna get paid. That man had a wife, raised children, had a side woman, and the wife knew about it, and they just said, we're not going to get into that. And men are going to be men, and don't belittle yourself. As long as he's taking care of you as financially, it don't matter. And that's so unfortunate.
It is unfortunate, and we should never accept, because my mother didn't accept nothing like that with my father. Never. And he knew that if he ever had another woman on her, that she would find out about it and they were done. She told us that. And I tell you, when my mother passed away, my mother and father married 37 years. My father stood right there in that kitchen, and he was looking us in our eyes, and he said, I never had another girlfriend on your mother.
You had an excellent role model.
You did. You were gonna be done.
But the thing about it is, and don't you agree, Tony?
It's right, Vonda. It's right. You shouldn't take that.
But Tony, don't you agree that what it is that, and let me say this to Tony, you will have women, grown women, who will counsel other women. Well, just because he cheat, that ain't nothing, but do he pay the bills? Do he do this? Yeah. Girl, don't worry about that. That's okay. Men gonna be men. They will encourage you to stay in a relationship where the man going on business trips for 2 and 3 days and you don't know where. Oh, girl, don't be that way. And it is so unfortunate.
It's sucking your soul. It's sucking all of the life and the vitality out of your soul. There's no price that can take for that. There's nothing, no money that can take for your soul being just sucked out. All of the life. When you agree on this.
Well, here's the situation. What people think is, well, he's not abusing me financially. He's not abusing me physically. But if he's abusing you emotionally, the minute that you hear that door open and your heart drop, oh, he gonna go be with another woman. Or, do you know you can't live like that. You can't live like that. Right. It will destroy you.
You cannot live like that.
Every time he come back around, you looking, you afraid, oh, somebody gonna tell me, girl, I saw your husband. What happened? You on the defense. Why? Because you don't want to get the confirmation that already exists. You understand what I'm saying? The late night call. You should not live like that. You know what I'm saying? And if you have to live like that, you don't need, that's not a marriage. As the first caller said, a marriage is a covenant. A covenant has no beginning and it has no end. And it is an agreement before God that this is how we're going to hold ourselves up. Ain't no covenant that you pay the bills and I go lay up with who I want to. Ain't no covenant. Oh, well, a man is a man based on how many women he can afford. That's ridiculous.
The preachers are not preaching that. These black churches, those preachers are not preaching that. They ain't preaching it because they're doing it. Half of them doing it themselves. They're not preaching that to the men, and that's the reason they can take all that nonsense.
Wait a minute, Tony. They want to talk about Adam and they don't want to talk about Adam and Eve and Sarah. They want to talk about Adam and Steve. They want to throw people who are having homosexual relationship. No, deal with the adultery in the church so people can be set free. Deal with people slipping out. It's people that got multiple families in a church. And it ain't something that just started. But they don't want to deal with that. They don't want to deal with that.
They're going to be in the hell. They're going to be in the hell in the end. I don't care if they're preaching because God sees them. He knows that there are misleading. You misleading the people when you don't say things like that they should hear.
If my child right, if my child looked to me for advice, I don't want to be a hypocrite. I don't want to tell my child don't drink and I be drunk. So if I want to be able to tell my child to do better, I need to be better. So when you lead a flock, you got a responsibility to live holy and all of that. We all fall short of the grace of God, and you paying somebody's mortgage, you paying their car note, you swiping women out like you changing your drawers, and then you gonna tell me about I'm going to hell. Well, if you reading the same Bible I'm reading, you might get there before I do.
You don't get there before you do. Because God is going to hold them doubly responsible for what their responsibility was. And if they didn't fulfill, and they're too busy filling their own cup full of all of that mess. And that's all it is.
Exactly. And I'm not trying, and what I'm saying to you is, once we recognize and once we train our young boys and girls in the churches, in the mosques, in the synagogues, you are to have one wife only. That's the only woman you should know in a sexual sense, like your father. That's the only, and it wasn't that your father didn't have an opportunity to know women in another way. It was a point that he didn't take them up on it. Women are going to want what you got. When you walk around here and say, look what Johnny just bought me. He just bought me this new mink coat. And they ain't got nobody. They're going to be trying to get Johnny to get them one. Well, just give me a mink hat. I'll be all right with that. Okay? So you got to be careful who you telling your business to. But I'm going to tell you that you know who get more women hit on? A man that take care of his wife. Baby, they going to want him because they going to want him to take care of them like that too. We'll be back. We got Lola from Moscow. Lola from Moscow.